Hello there, everyone. I apologize if I sound extra loud. I've tried in Streamlabs to turn down my microphone just a bit because for web captioner to work, I have to speak much more loudly for it to recognize me. So I apologize for that. I'm trying out web captioner. Instead of having it have just a pitch black background, I'm using the highlight and chroma keying out the black of the background. I slightly changed the black of the highlights to be a different color than the background, so I can very easily chroma key it out while also leaving the highlights. So the letters should be legible, I hope. Easy for people to read. I tried to pick a dyslexic friendly font. So I'm hoping this is something that'll, be readable for people who, for whatever reason, if they are deaf, etc., cannot hear me. They look pretty readable? That's good to hear. And hello, Ferk. Welcome to some Sekiro. Let me know also if the audio levels are okay with my voice, because like I said just a bit ago, but I know everyone's going to be like coming in over time, I have to talk much more loudly to be heard and recognized by web captioner. Wait, I play Sekiro? You never knew that? Ferk? I know you're joking. So it's a bit of a warm-up. I was going to fight Ashina Elite here. Oh, I missed the punch. Gotta die. Isn't it pronounced Ferk? Oh, web captioner can't say your name. I see. I actually had to change a few things. I don't know if it'll get it right. So if I say Tolvo, it thought I was saying Polvo or Tova and things like that. So I've used the auto replacement to change those words into displaying as Tolvo. So if you ever need me to say like Volvo or Polvo, it can't recognize that. It'll think I'm saying Tolvo. Ah, you're just amused at the spelling. That makes sense. Oh, shoot. Also, yeah, that's how hard enemies hit on this difficulty. As you saw, I just got posture broken from a single blocked sword swing. When you said Tolvo wrong, the caption plugin spelled it as Polvo. Yeah, so I had it set to replace words that sound like Tolvo with Tolvo, because it kept recognizing those words as different words if I said Tolvo. Misread both times you said Tolvo into other stuff, but caught Volvo, etc. to your name. Ah, yeah. I've got to figure out like all of the different words it thinks I'm saying instead of Tolvo. So that'll probably come with time. Certain people, I guess, it kind of works a little bit better for. Like Pleasantly Twisted, her name is made up of actual words. So it won't spell it the same way she spells Twisted, and she can just change it so that it'll remove the I and the E. And I hope the avatar is also animating whenever I talk. Sometimes it breaks and I have to reset it. Wait. Oh, okay. So I guess if you aggro this guy and then leave, you can get a stealth death blow on him. I never tried that before. That's fun. Hi, Overkill. How you doing? You like the avatar? Well, thank you, Claire. I just made her today in under an hour. It took me about 40 minutes, I think. The avatar has mouth flaps, yes, is working well. Well, that's good to hear. So I don't actually have a webcam for this computer. I would need to actually get a separate one. The laptop had a built-in one, so it was able to work with FaceRig. This computer does not have that, so I have it on audio lip sync, so it'll recognize audio, and it'll hear my voice basically, and know when I'm talking. So that's how I'm getting that to work. I don't know that I can animate it in other ways. I can do slight things like this should actually change some of the facial expressions to different ones. This is the like kind of smug smile one. So if that's working, that's how that should go. And hey, Ariel. Overkill is playing some Adelaide Ryza. I don't know what that is, or is it Adelaide or Ryza? The expressions worked? Wonderful. So that means when I'm tabbed into other things, that'll still work. That's good. I know I can also turn off captions. I think it's holding W and then pressing C. And then if I do the same, it'll turn it back on, just in case I need to like turn away and talk to someone or something. Okay, it's Adelaide. So this all seems to be working pretty wonderfully. If anyone wants to set this stuff up there on their own, the web captioner I'm using is one Pleasantly Twisted suggested to me. It is just called Web Captioner. You can find it. It'll only run through Chrome because it uses Chrome API. I'm using Streamlabs OBS, so I do it as window capture, not browser capture. And I've actually chroma keyed the window, so all of the black background does not get shown. Only the text does, so it takes up less space visually, doesn't cover things. And I changed the shadows for the letters to a slightly different black, so the chroma key doesn't get it, because I set it to a strict chroma key. That way you still get the highlights to them, so the letters are more legible. The JRPG with lots of gathering and crafting. You're a girl starting out as an alchemist. Ah. And then for the model, it is actually a very, very simple thing. I'm going to be making far more in-depth and updated versions as I go on. This is basically like the first draft version. That is using Vroid Studio. It is a free program. There's like pro editions and various stuff, but I'm using the free version. You can download it and edit models. They only have female and male option for base model, but you can go in and further edit stuff as you're going to try and make things fit how you want. It is pretty simple. You mainly can recolor stuff. There are more like assets you can download, you can edit the hair and various things. There's hair physics. You can do it procedurally, draw the hair and have it kind of simulated. So I did it kind of procedurally. I'm doing simple stuff right now. As time goes on, I'm going to make my own assets and models and aspects. I'm also going to make my own textures. It shouldn't be too hard to actually redo the texture and have the skin have scales, for instance. So I will be messing about with all sorts of stuff related to that. Then VC face, just the letter V, and then C face as actual words. That is the program I'm using to actually display and animate the model, in case anyone wants to know how I'm doing this. So that stuff is all free, very simple and easy to use. I made this model, and it's more like edited. I edited this model in under an hour. Figured I would just explain all that stuff in case people were wondering how they do this too. Who do I want to fight? I believe I have 7 Spears Oniwa still here. Does anyone need me to repeat anything I just said or explain it further? I wonder if the update will let you fight mini-bosses. I'm not sure, but probably. Probably they're going to be included in the boss rushes. You got all that? Nice. Also, how is everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a nice day. I'm not totally sure how long I'm going. I kind of want to do this as a bit of a testing stream. So I'm trying to remember, will I be able to stealth up here without sugar? I think I might be able to. So I can get like roughly here. His is still going up. Shoot. Okay, I got it reset. Because I'm trying to remember, there was a thing I would do where I would go like here. I would like get his attention. Like over here. I'm trying to remember exactly how I would do this. I would wait till it gets to like roughly about just hitting yellow and then I would turn. I would go up here Ah, shoot, I screwed it up. Oh god, you hate this mini-boss? Yeah, it's rough. Well, you're having a bad day? I'm sorry, Ariel. I hope it gets better. I might just fight them straight up then. Oh, I screwed up the dodge. Also, as you can see on this difficulty, a single hit killed me. So, you know, that's what New Game Plus 7 Charmless Demon Bell is like. Charmless also increases everything by like 25% stats-wise. I'm kind of just trying to do a little bit of rust removal, but I guess I probably shouldn't have done that at these very hard bosses. Although I could do it... Nay, are you still trying to avoid Sekiro spoilers? Because I was literally about to teleport to the final boss and practice fighting it. So if you are still avoiding spoilers... Okay. How are you doing, Nay? Oh yeah, and for anyone curious, later today, it should be around 5 p.m. CST. I think it's 6 EST is when Twisted will be streaming. I will be guesting. We'll be on front page for an hour. She's going to be doing Sekiro. She's going to be fighting the final boss, this one right up here, and, you know, doing some cleanup. Probably she'll be fighting the Demon of Hatred as well. You feel like at this point it's my own fault for not beating this game yet. Understandable, yeah. You're going to suggest the final boss for derusting? Yeah, a part of it is because the final boss is kind of so, like, consistent. I'm going to do it with Mistraven right here. That's just so that the lightning reversal part isn't too visually boring. Oh, I'm sorry you're dealing with that, Ariel. Alright. Let's see how this boss fight goes. I'll skip the cutscenes. They're kind of trigger heavy anyway. Content warning-y. So hey, here's Guenichiro. I find this version of Guenichiro much easier because he doesn't do quite as much with the bow. For these combos, I want to back off. They're a little bit inconsistent to parry. You can, but they're not super consistent on the timing. So he's just about dead. Could actually have parried that and it would have gone fine, but whatever. That's that phase done with. First try, but now comes the actual hard stuff of Sword Saint Ishin. This is the sword phase. Yeah, the Guenichiro fight is pathetically easy. Yes, it is. I find it easier than the one at the castle. I don't like the one at the castle. Howdy. Oh, hi, Albus Doctor. Oh, I just screwed that up. Gotta reset. So I accidentally got hit by the push. You don't see any damage, but it's technically a hit. Like, probably easier than the Guenichiro fight in the prologue. No, I don't know about that. I would say the prologue one is still easier than this one, but this one is definitely easier than regular Guenichiro. The prologue one just has such little health, and you don't have to deal with the mortal draws. Finally, no hit the Guenichiro castle fight. Nice work, Ariel. How have you been doing, Albus Doctor? Also, I try to stay just on the edge of his blade there. The reason for that, while it is dangerous, is that it causes him to not use his bow. So whenever you get a parry like that on Way of Tomoe Guenichiro, it causes him to do that sort of follow-up attack, the like rising swing. Been busy with school? Ah, how has school been going? Other than busy, as I imagine, since you said it's been busy. So whenever he pulls out the bow like that, you can just get free hits if you're in melee range. It's real nice. Let's go back to sword phase. So for that, I like to get up close and parry the hilt swing. I find it's much better to punish. You can actually get right up behind him and hit him. The Dragon Flash does not hit right behind him. One of the things I like about Sword Saint is he is an incredibly consistent boss. He's not easy per se, but he's really, really tightly made. This is, I think, the best, or at least one of the best bosses FromSoft have ever made. Spear phase is where it gets scary. When you're fighting spear phase and you're trying to do no hit, one of the best ways to do it is like this. You want to stay up in his face and hit his front. If you hit his backside, he can hyper armor out. You want him to basically try and parry and block you. Because you can cancel them like so. Most of his combos will not go off if you parry the first swing of them. So that's why he keeps stopping what he's doing, if you're curious. You want to save a dash forward for his jump back. For this, I like to jump over his head. You can just iframe it. When he backs off, you want to chase. You don't want to let him start getting too far away and start using his gun and stuff. You want to be careful about your aggression. You can end up at points where you start swinging as he's jumping back, in which case you'll get hit. So he's about to be posture broken right there. Big agree, he's your number one. Ah. And you can lightning reversal without taking damage by using Mist Raven, as you just saw. So right there, what just happened, I accidentally hit him on the side. I should have waited before hitting him. That was a big mistake by me. You like my avatar? Well, thank you. Been doing the dodge through the fast combo that I showed, and it works fine on Way of Tomoe. But sometimes, because you're parrying the final one at an angle, I miss the Makiri and just end up behind him. Ah. You fucking love seeing that? Nice. So that was the second attempt, wasn't it? That went pretty close. Probably what I'll do is I won't execute him as well at the end when I beat him so that I can refight him and keep practicing. So for Guenichiro at the start, you can get various free hits by going behind him like that. You want to be careful if he does the follow-up swing, because that can hit you. He will turn as he does it. Also, a little thing, whenever this combo comes, I parry only the... Okay, that was just a silly mistake. But yeah, I parry only the first two hits of that combo. You can still get those pretty free. The ones after, it's just a thing of just back off. There's no real reason to take that risk because of how inconsistent it can be. There's a couple things like that where what you want is to consistently fight so you can do it every time. Because I'm going to be doing full runs, so I want to be able to do fights, not in like super high risk ways, but ways that I know consistently work. Even if they're ways that are very hard, I want things that are consistent. It's actually one of the easier bosses for me now due to the sheer number of times I fought him and to remember every move. That's how it can tend to be. Also, I'm going to mute for a second and take a drink and cough. Sorry, it took me a bit to clear my throat, but I'm back. I don't know why. I can talk a bunch, but once I'm talking on stream is when I really run into issue. I wonder if it's because of how I talk, if I'm using my throat in a particular way that's more stressful or something. I'm not sure. So again, I stay just out of range. Screwed that one up. Parried way too... Oh, my controller died. One sec. I have to unplug it. So if I wiggle the wire just a bit, it'll just lose control. So yeah, I have to... It's not that it died, it like slightly wiggled, so it couldn't recognize my inputs. So now I have the controller unplugged. I figure I'd also show a little neat thing not everyone knows about. I should have remembered to unplug my controller beforehand. I apologize if you can hear all the dog barking. I don't know what they're barking at. So as you just saw, I took no damage. You can parry parry Mortal Draw with Divine Confetti, because Mortal Draw does magic damage. Oh shoot. That was me. I looked down to read chat at the same time, which is no one in chat's fault. That's my fault for looking down. And really, I should have the timing for that down so much that I shouldn't have to even look at it. I've done this fight without looking at it before and done it no hit, no damage. But I am rusty. I every now and then take breaks from Sekiro so that I don't burn out too hard. You wish there was more fighting against that sword? Well, you know, it'd be a little odd if there were a bunch of Mortal Blades, wouldn't it? You can also just kind of walk up to behind him. He's really enjoying those thrusts. Oh yeah, so a fun little thing. I used to think there was a sort of like partial parry. It was actually a thing a lot of the community believed. Many people still do believe it. If I fail this attempt, I'll get to show you why. Because it is actually a specific sound that caused the issue. And Guenichiro can very consistently cause the sound. Because there is actually not partial parrying in Sekiro. There is only a successful parry and a block. That is all there is. It also might seem a little bit wild. Oh, counter slash. So when I fight Ishin, I actually find him kind of slow because I am so used to these speeds now. For me, a lot of it is not reflex parrying. I actually have to know the timing more so. I can kind of reflex it, but it's a little bit different. I actually have to wait. I have to wait till he starts moving in a certain position. Kind of like him bending his arm, and then I have to wait until he extends his arm. So I'm waiting for like a 4-frame animation to start, and that's when I start to reflex parry. Because I'll actually show it when I'm fighting him, and I'll show the sound effect. What's happening to the Black Blade in that cutscene? Where do you think it goes? What do you mean? He's wielding it. Ishin wields the Black Blade. He just doesn't use Mortal Draw. So what I need is him to do his combo or something. Well, okay. So when I parry this, you hear that sound. So that was the full-on parry sound. You also want to be a little bit careful of that. I accidentally parried that. I meant to block it. Shoot. I really need you to combo. Regain your posture, buddy. Buddy, regain your posture. That should regain it. I want him to do the combo because I need to block the last hit of it. Because it makes a particular sound. Come on. Oh, you just kind of thought he pulled the blade from the underworld with him? No. Yeah, Ishin doesn't actually know how to use it. Haha, Kuro. Yeah, she was using the black blade the whole fight, but that doesn't mean much in the fight. So that's kind of where the power of it is from. But yeah, it is the black mortal blade, but he's not mortal drawing. So this is also a little bit of a thing in regards to Sekiro lore, and a conspiracy theory that in the opening of Sekiro, Ishin is wielding the black mortal blade because the blade is kind of dark and has lotus symbols on the hilt. But it's a different blade. If you look at it, I would say very clearly it is a different blade. It's actually much shorter. The black mortal blade also is a bit straighter. Additionally, they even show in the manga that it's a different sword, and the opening of the manga is him cutting Hanbei in half. If that was the mortal blade, Hanbei wouldn't appear in the game. Hanbei would have died. So that was not the mortal blade. As well, if you listen to Ishin at times, he talks about the mortal blade. He views it as a heretical weapon to use. He thinks you should not use a mortal blade. He views it as kind of evil. So yeah, the thing I'm trying to show is just that I need him to actually hit me, and I need to block it. The final hit of his combo where he spins. It has a different sound. So this here, he's going to do the spinning final one. So that right there, it sounds like a parry, but it also has the sound of the block. It's kind of like both almost playing at the same time. It sounds really close to a parry. So it was misunderstood as being a partial parry. Because also if you don't play on Charmless, you don't know you took damage during it. But you can actually see it's distinct from the parry sound. It's not a thing where you got a partial parry that causes that sound. It's actually that move in specific causes that sound to play if you block it. There are a couple moves like that in the game, and it caused that confusion for a lot of people. War crime's good, but not with magical sword. Yeah, that's Ishin's view, you know. So whenever he parries me, I pause. You might not be able to tell because it's going by so fast, but I actually sit there and pause and wait. I pause for like a few frames. Also, that's how I deal with the Ichimonji, is I actually just kind of walk around it. So if you run away, he'll do a chasing slice like that, and then he'll stomp and bring up the spear. If you stay in melee, he'll just bring out the spear, typically. So if you can get Ishin up against the cliffs, it's actually really good because you can kind of just hammer on him whenever he's going to do his move where he just steps back. He cannot fall off the ledge here, actually. I have hit him out of the air before. You can't knock him off. I've even tried blasting him off the edge with Flame Vent, full charge. Doesn't work. He's not like Gyobu or Demon of Hatred or Corrupted Monk. And once immediately after the phase change, he'll block it, then pull out Spear. Yeah, that is also an option. You want to be a bit careful with the lightning. You want to actually be within range of him. If you're too far away... Oh, shoot. Oh, I haven't actually seen him do that combo off in a little bit. So if you're too far away, you'll land and the lightning won't reach him. And typically he'll just pull out his gun and shoot you. So as I just showed there, you can parry that without taking damage. So a weird thing about that, if you parry that in melee, it does chip damage. If you parry just the wind, it does not. Right now I'm kind of just trying to show off elements of his fight. There's the sweep. Ah, screwed up that one. Oh well. Yep, you can parry that. Linear Dragon Flash in Sword Phase is also parryable. So that one is a bit dangerous to parry, same for the Ichimonji, but you can do it. I actually don't think they're worth it, but some people do like to do that. For instance, if you parry the Ichimonji, he'll instantly start doing a Dragon Flash. That's really quick. I can show it. Also, if I'm going to Mikiri counter, I like to block. That is a personal thing. It helps me align with the enemy, so I can make sure I'm not offset in any way. Additionally, you can end up accidentally parrying a lot of thrusts. That one was intentional, but if you actually time it, what'll often happen is you'll press block to do the Mikiri, and then you'll accidentally parry the thrust as it comes right before you're going to get the Mikiri. A thing about Sekiro is it's actually really tight on hitboxes for Sekiro himself. You can actually duck under attacks, for instance. But let's say, oh, there we go. If you're going to get hit, you actually get hit a few frames after you would get hit if you're blocking. So if I block an attack, it'll hit me. If I'm not blocking, it'll hit me a few frames before, after. Because it's actually hitting my sword instead of my body. That is an actual thing that the game does do. I should also parry one of those. The reason being is that Ishin kind of doesn't know what to do if you parry his thrust in this phase. Next phase, you don't want to do it. He'll lead it into huge combos. So right there, he'll kind of just stand there and go like, huh? As you can see. There it is again. I really want him to Ichimonji. Also, parrying thrust is actually a lot easier, at least for me, than a lot of people think. Excellent, got hit there, but I really just want him to Ichimonji. Come on, Ichimonji. Do your Ichimonji. I really wanted to just Ichimonji. Yeah, I was considering parrying the cross as well. Ah, I forgot to... Yeah, so as you can see there, you can parry the Dragon Flash, it will not damage you. The one where he does it diagonally though, if you parry that in melee, if you parry the blade, it does chip damage. If you parry the ranged attacks, it does not. Making a big cinematic hoodless Sekiro video, and I've reached the recording. I tragically regretfully have to use the dub for the convenience of hoodless ending. Ah. If you parry Ichimonji, you kind of have to parry the first step of Flash, I think. The stagger feels like it doesn't really give you time to dodge. So you do have time to dodge. The problem is actually he will snap to you and fire it right where you are. And yeah, I'll try to parry the cross. You also do have a way to pretty easily counter the cross if it does happen. I can show it off. Also, I'm taking hits and stuff here. I'm just kind of testing things out and showing them. These are not like actual attempts, really. Yep, that's parrying the combos, like, often. So that's why I don't parry that combo. It's really inconsistent, and I'm guessing a part of it is that I don't know if frames... So this is a weird thing about this sort of stuff, is Sekiro might operate on frames faster than 60 frames per second. I think it does, because if you actually record animations, there will sometimes be 1 frame of difference in them. So if you started at the exact perfect animation and at 60 frames per second, it almost seems like the game is actually operating at like 120 frames. And I think that combo is so tight that actually will screw you up. And I think that's where the inconsistency of it comes from. Want the extra hit dodge back and slightly right, or pause slightly and dodge front left through the first. No, I know I'm just testing out stuff and showing off parrying those things. I already know all this stuff, Rick. Don't worry. Find the Shura fight way harder, probably because the first phase isn't Guenichiro that we fought before. I find Emma to be a fun fight. It's actually the Ishin phase 2 that's the problem, and it's because of all the fire attacks. Ishin, so Shura Ishin is way less consistent than Sword Saint Ishin. So that there is a major difference for me. Just getting through this phase so I can get to Ishin and show some stuff off again. Also, yeah, whenever you Makiri someone, it'll often have a different animation for killing them. I should have stayed at range. I don't normally parry that one, so I'm not used to the timing on that. I guess I should actually equip the gourd since I'm just showing stuff off. So that's the Ashina Cross. If he'll do it again, I can show it off. The other tactic for dealing with it. I don't normally get to see his defensive playset. That was actually a block, but the animation screwed up because of I kind of like timed it in a weird way. Do the Ashen across, buddy. Okay, so here. If you run diagonally, it'll miss. Like that. That is the incredibly easy way you can deal with that. I wanted to see if standing behind him you could block it, or dodge it, I mean. Not like dodge it, but avoid it. Obviously no, but I wanted to try. You also recently realized that the area slowly burning increasingly is because, rather than anything environmental happening, she is furious and also is about to become Ashura in the hatred after Emma died. Whoever won, everyone else lost. Yes, that is a thing I have explained to people many times, and many people get very angry at me when I say it. Because, as I will mention, Ishin is the perfect candidate for becoming Shura, but his Buddhist teachings and his mastery over his mind are why he does not. But think about Ishin. That man is horny for killing. That guy is the most bloodthirsty person in this and has killed more people than anyone in the entire game. And remember, if you read all of the skills and stuff for karma, for instance, it explains all sorts of aspects of how karma and negative energy are gained through killing, regardless of intent or righteousness. Killing causes it. That is also what leads on the path to Shura and losing yourself. Ishin is the prime candidate for that. And remember, Ishin can't wield fire. He doesn't have that ability. He knows how to wield wind. During that is also not really when there's an invasion going on yet. Remember, it's not night in that. That's actually still during the Owl phase. So, like, when Owl is there. That's before the Interior Ministry has invaded. And pretty much all Ishin has left, like, mentally, the things that he cares most about are Emma and Kuro. And you kill Emma, you kill Emma there. So, you know, you also betrayed him and killed basically his daughter. Which Emma has had 3 dads of the Sculptor first, Dogen second, and Ishin third. First stage of the invasion happened, like the castle is crawling with shogunate troops. Yes, but they have not fully invaded. It's before they started burning the castle. That is kind of more like, it's mostly a shinobi group if you check. So the dudes with the mustaches on their menpos are called Interior Ministry Shinobi. That is what they are called, as well as the Lone Shadows. And those are the 2 main enemy types that are there. They're the ones that come during that time, along with Owl. So it's kind of like an outward force, or harassing force, or like expedition, espionage, spies. It's when the castle is not at like major risk, but is being harassed. It's the people trying to weaken it before the invasion. And gather whatever intel they can, possibly open things up. There's a lot of little details, kind of like a lot of people think after you kill the Divine Dragon that Ishin has been killed by the Interior Ministry because they find him dead with the sword in his hand and he has blood on him. But if you look, the blood is all on the inside of his hands, so he is bleeding from himself. Like, internally, he's not actually wounded or anything. There's no blood on his clothes. There's not blood all over on the ground. And that is kind of a classic thing of if you are dying and you're some sort of warrior tradition, you want to die with a blade in your hand no matter what. And that's how Ishin is. Or possibly he saw the invasion coming and stood up to try and fight, but died in doing so because he just didn't have the strength left in him. Yeah, Emma says he succumbed to it. So it's a detail a lot of people miss. He is extremely ill. Yeah, the Norse were like that. Do Buddhist teachings include hell for immense negative karma? we use hell as like a translation thing. They have all sorts of different terms. Also, skipping that cutscene for content warning stuff. Oh, hi, Ishin, you missed. They have things that are like hells. It's not like the Christian hell. They have what you would term basically as like negative suffering afterlives. They have that sort of stuff, depending on the version. That's like Jizo statues. Jizo is there to help children like not suffer as much in their hells if they die when they're young. That's one of the things Jizo does. And yeah, it's not identical. Don't think of it as like Christian hell. Shoot. Very bizarre. That was a weird pattern. So as you can see, if you parry a thrust, certain bosses are like this, where if you parry thrusts, it actually causes them to combo. So Ishin with the spear is one of them. The other main one is Corrupted Monk. So that was kind of what I expected him to do. I was expecting him to do that. So a part of why I was actually doing this is for when Twisted streams later, I wanted to have good info on these fights. I'm not actually seeking to win these per se, but get a better understanding of the timing of how he is going to react to various things. I should also probably go and hang out with Demon of Hatred. Which school of Buddhism believes in rebirth and reincarnation? So that would be which sects, which orders, which schools, because that wouldn't be a single one, and that would depend on the version of that order or sect or teaching. Like, that is way more varied. And it even gets down to the individual level of person. Oh yeah, and these guys are here when you first arrive for Demon of Hatred. Yeah, shoot it with fire. Kind of the amusing thing, though, they actually do posture damage to it. I don't believe they do vitality damage, but they do posture damage. I couldn't time it right, because I couldn't remember. It's been a little while. Also, yeah, a weird aspect. The second hit of that is not actually a fire attack, so you can parry it just fine. You just fucking missed. Wild. So yeah, you can parry the wind there. Ah, mistimed it. It's been a while since I last fought Demon of Hatred. You can iframe that right there. So when doing this, you can actually kind of slide under those depending on your position. You kind of want to run around and hit him during that. You don't want to parry that. That is a fire attack after. He can miss his stomps. You actually don't want him to miss his stomps. It's a little bit dangerous because he'll create a shockwave, and those can actually ignore your parry. So that is the thing you want to be real careful about. You don't want to reach him too early or he'll instant throw those, and you cannot iframe that. That's actually impossible to iframe, period. You'll want to use Suzaku's Flame Umbrella. Only ever taken off 1 health bar, the fight is too much for you. Yeah, this fight is rough. This is one of those things where when people can't beat it, it's like, oh yeah, this fight is hard and long. The biggest part, I think, is how long it is. Yeah, it's a slog, definitely. So that there, you actually want to stay close to him to avoid more easily. Most of the... Yeah, it's a test of endurance over reflexes. I would definitely agree with that. So you want him to actually do that pose as you're running at him, so that he won't do the insta-fire throw. I dodged there just in case, for safety. Oh, I got hit with the shockwave there. So his foot missed me, causing me to get hit with the shockwave. I hate his stomp so much. Okay, I'm actually not sure what just hit me there. Although I don't think I've ever been in that position for him doing his slide. So I guess that happens if you're at where he slides to. Test evolved, but you actually have to have consistent execution off a significantly longer time span. Yeah, I mean, a part of it, a lot of his attacks aren't really reflex, the stomps are though. The stomps and the headbutt can be, but the headbutt is also more pattern recognition to recognize if he's doing the single headbutt or the combo headbutt. Oh well, he got the clip for me to get the achievement. Oh, you did the cliff trick. Okay. Well, however you get it, you get it. So you'll want to iframe his fire attacks for the most part. Obviously, you'll take chip damage if you don't. Whenever he does this, if you jump up and grapple to him, you'll avoid the shockwave hitting you. So that's the single head. Weird thing about that, actually, if you thrust attack that, it'll go straight like through him and not hit him. It's very bizarre. So a little thing here I'll show too, if you are dealing with the fire shotgun blast, what you want to do is trigger it. Oh, he actually did whip instead. I wanted him to do the fireball throw. So I was going to show a little way you can deal with it. And he missed his headbutt, which means free damage basically. Again, for this, run around the side here. Get some hits in on his ankle, basically. He missed. And I was standing still, even. So if he does the fire shotgun blast here, what you can do is get into range where he'll do it and then just run away. Run away. So don't run at him, though, afterwards. Don't try to punish, because he'll throw a second one that'll just wreck you if you try that. Don't know how that missed me, but okay. Demon of Hatred's a little weird sometimes, with his stomps in specific. And that's First posture break, there we go. So it's first phase done, new game, +7, charm with Steven Bell, no hit, no damage, sword only. So no items, tools, etc. That's a good example of doing that. Probably now I'm going to start getting hit and stuff. This is where he does the whip slam from far away. So what you want to do is jump kind of like a diagonal while strafing. That's the 3-hit combo headbutt. So that's why you don't want to just immediately start hitting him after the first headbutt. You might do that version. He's probably going to whip slam. Oh no, this is way worse, actually. So there we go. You can use the environment to block it in those sorts of scenarios. Don't go right up to him. So that's one of the reasons why. Also, the whip slam in melee has no counter, pretty much. So you want to run away to do the jump. You also want to be careful about attacking when landing after grappling 2 with the whip slam. Pretty much past the first phase, you don't want to chase him down when he does the runaway. Again, run around to the side on this. You don't want to get hit with the fire. You do need to jump that if you're strafing even. It can still hit you with the trail. You do want to be a bit careful with the trees sometimes. It can kind of screw up positioning. We're almost into the third phase. This should be third phase right here. Yep, there we go. So this one is definitely going to be very tricky to do. So he should do the big spin. You want to jump the first one, duck after that, and then jump that. So now the arena is coated in fire. If he does the sort of charge sweeps, now he'll actually do 2. He'll do 1 through and then 1 behind back. So he'll do that. Ah, okay, he did a different one because the fire circle went away. That's why. Again, get around here, hit him. I apologize if I can't read all of chat right now. Oh, I got hit with the shockwave, so that was unavoidable damage. Nothing I could have done there, basically. It's a little RNG of a thing you just gotta watch out for. And I got pushed back into the fire pit. Ah, that sucks. So that's basically 2 hits. But oh well. This honestly went a little bit better than I expected. You'd actually be dead if I was using Malcontent, amusingly. Oh, the grapple point got blocked by the tree. So remember how I mentioned you want to be a little bit careful with the tree? Also for that, back off if you're going to jump over it. It actually goes through the air, so you want to be careful. His thing after is not technically a sweep. And he missed. So that's the follow-up sweep one. Still backing off in case he does the whip slam. Yep. Like I said, you don't want to be there for that. Okay, I could have actually punished that. I was waiting to see if he started up an attack right away. Yep, shockwave again. Nothing I can really do about that. You just have to hope it doesn't happen. That is one of the frustrating things about Demon of Hatred. It's something I hope they would, well, not hope. I don't expect them to patch it because they're not really patching Sekiro much. It's something I wish they would patch because that is actual pure RNG if the shockwave will happen, and you cannot really parry it. Because it has different timing, different positioning, so it's just not going to work. And he's dead. So that's a Demon of Hatred. That was, what, 3 hits? Not too terrible. Figure I might as well show the execution. And I figure it's a nice way to end the stream. So that's Sekiro, New Game +7, Charmless Demon Bell, Sword Only, Demon of Hatred, 3 hits. And you know, this is a stream for practicing. But yeah, that's the fight. And as always, practicing makes near perfect. It helps out, it helps remove the rust. And honestly, this was a pretty stress-free stream and chill, and I think that kind of helped me out. As well, now it's all in like max settings and looks super pretty. So yeah, I'll probably highlight that as well. Hey, Sage Voodoo, how you doing? You just missed me beating Demon of Hatred, New Game +7, Charmless Demon Bell, Sword Only, with only taking 3 hits. All of them due to RNG stomps, I believe? No, 2 due to RNG stomps, 1 because of positioning. I got pushed back into a fire pit and took 1 tick of fire damage. Can't stay, but wanted to check you real quick. The Vtuber avatar looks awesome. Just in time for my work breakdown. Oh, hey, Sean. So, by the way, y'all, should be able to type exclamation point SO, all lowercase, and then space, SJH does games. Shout out. That is Sean/0/SJH. He's streaming Robopon 2 currently. Not like right now, but that's what he's been streaming. Good friend, likes fighting games. Cool dude. I recommend giving him a watch. Very entertaining, and deserves more views than he gets. You didn't miss it? Ah, nice. So I think that is probably enough for a test stream to make sure all of this is working, that web captioner is working fine, that the VTuber avatar is looking good and working, and it sounds like everything's going well, and this was a pretty successful stream for what I set out. Good practice, and honestly, that's a pretty good run of Demon of Hatred. It's not full no hit, no damage, but that is a pretty good run to have. You don't talk to streamers during boss fights? Understandable, because it also, I can't really see very well during that one, for instance. Let's see, you do think he deflected off a wall? Yeah. He's a boss rush killer for you, by the look of things. Yes, Demon of Hatred is definitely a tricky thing for that, but for boss rush mode, you will have all of your gourds and stuff. And it's like, you don't want to die. They might also allow you to revive still. So it's not no hit, no damage. And you can do it on New Game. Much better run than I could ever manage? Well, thank you. I'm going to sit at this idle. I'm going to also see who is currently streaming. Oh, and we're at 16 viewers. Nice. Let's see. Because I know Emily is streaming. Frisk is streaming with Dead by Daylight. Emily is streaming Space Valkyrie with Spiritfarer. Goes on Ghost is streaming. I might raid into Goes on Ghost. I don't know that I have before. Goes on Ghost is part of Team Hitless, is doing various Bloodborne runs. Right now, Goes on Ghost is doing, what is this? BL4, all content, Blood level 4. All content, no hit, PB 21 attempt, like 21 hits per run is their PB. I believe Goes on Ghost is she, her pronouns as well. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone for stopping by, watching, hanging out, chatting. I'm really happy with how this went and how this has gone. Oh, I realized something though. I should probably move her here. Just slightly over. I think that's a better choice. That way her face isn't totally obscured by the chat. Should have noticed that earlier, but oh well. Yeah, thank you everyone. Gonna be raiding out now, and have a lovely day and lovely time with Ghost. Ghost is how I found Twisted in You. Sheer is correct. Ah, good. And yeah, Ghost seems pretty cool. So I'll see everybody there. Bye-bye for now.